What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. If you have watched the full NFL mock draft preview, thank you. If you're coming here from that video, thank you. But as I said, wanted to dive into a couple different teams that I, root for or follow a little bit more and, dive a little bit deeper into their first couple rounds of the draft. So this video, as you can read the title, is going to be the Carolina Panthers. As you can see, got the Carolina shirt on right now, but going into the draft, obviously, they do not have their first round pick, from the Bryce Young deal last year to trade up to get him at number one. So I'm going to be going through their first three rounds, picks 33, 39, and 65, to go over what I believe is the best route for them to go. No trades here, similar to my full round one mock draft. If you haven't watched that, please go check it out. I thought it was a decent video. But biggest needs here mainly are on offense. Give Bryce Young some help, please. Need a stud wide receiver to pair with a vet like Adam Thielen can learn from. First handful of years, you have young guys such as Jonathan Mingo and Terrence Marshall, an established guy in Deontay Johnson coming into the fold as well this year from Pittsburgh. But you need a big play athletic receiver guy for the future, a proven guy. Tight end, another position of need. Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble, the tight ends, main guys on the roster. You had Hayden Hurst last year, but no longer on the roster this year. Both of those guys have been in the league a while, but unfortunately haven't had huge years and hit their potential as of yet. O-line could always use some boosting as well. You have nice young pieces, Brady Christensen, Ike Okonwu, but specifically you need a center here if you're going to add anything on that O-line, especially early on. Truthfully, the defense with the departure of Brian Burns could use help at all three levels. Mostly linebacker in my opinion, but they brought in some older guys to help fill the gap, especially this year and probably next year as well, to get those building blocks in and learn the ropes. You brought in Davion Clowney, Clayvion Chasen. You still have Shaq Thompson on the roster as well, all vets. Next important, I'd argue, is cornerback. You have J.C. Horn, a young piece. Aside from that, a lot of plug-and-play guys right now. Defensive tackle, yes, I guess you could use some help, but you do still have Derek Brown up the middle. Edge, you could use some help, obviously, with losing Brian Burns this offseason. But, with Clowney and Chasen coming in, they'll take some of that edge rushing duty. So first pick, at pick 33. This is on PFF mock drafts as well, so we're just jumping in, not saying this is who will be there with these picks, but, at the time that I did this, this is where the mock draft had it going. I got them staying in state here, going with NC State's Peyton Wilson, linebacker. This helps get a young, athletic, versatile linebacker who can learn from some vets, starting his career out, which I think is big going forward. He graded out as the best linebacker at the draft combine, actually, and the second best athleticism score, but overall graded as the best linebacker. Running a 4.43 40. Jumping to the next one at 39. Go get your stud athletic wide receiver to pair with Jonathan Mingo for the future. Now, I will say a little asterisk next to this, right? Because if you watch the full mock draft, I picked this guy at the end of the first round. But in this mock draft, he was here. So I have them going with Keon Coleman, wide receiver from Florida State, originally a Michigan State Spartan. But if he's there at 39, maybe even 33, you go with him. His combine scores don't do him justice. Just turn on the tape and use your eyes to see how good he is. He can do it all. Contested balls, he can go get it. Grab and go routes, good blocker as well. Can just do it all across the board. Don't overthink this. If he's on the board, he is a first round type of guy. If you can nab him in the second, go and get him. Don't overthink it. Now to the first pick in the third round, pick number 65. You could go with a couple of cornerbacks here, like Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. Could go with Renardo Green, another FSU guy. But I have them going a different direction here. I have them going with edge rusher Chris Braswell out of Alabama. His combine overall defensive and edge score ranked him at number 8. Good 40 for a defensive end at 4.6 40. 13 sacks last year in Tuscaloosa. Gives you a stud on the edge to replace Brian Burns and learn from some good pass rushers like Jadeveon Clowney and Clayvion Chasen, as we said. The remainder of the draft, in my opinion, for the Carolina Panthers should be focused on finding some cornerback help and some more interior defensive line help. Now, if you know PFF, they do grade you, and these picks were all A's. Wilson and Braswell were an A, Coleman an A-. So the Panthers can get these guys. I think that sets them up to have a good rebuilding year next year, continue to build those young pieces next year. And then the year after that, you're hopefully, starting to compete, for a playoff spot, in Bryce Young year 3, year 4. you're trying to win the division year 3 or 4 for Bryce Young. And I think getting these, young pieces at some key positions will help them grow into that going forward. So let's hope for a good draft for the Panthers as Panther fan here. But we'll be back with another draft preview here in a little bit. I believe we got 2 more at the time you're seeing this. But thank you all so much for watching. Peace out.